Jackson, Mr. Craig, and Mrs. Anderson. I'll say a few things and I'll turn it over to Terry Earhart. He's going to moderate this meeting tonight. Terry is a Blanchard resident and is a chairman of BETA, which stands for Blanchard Economic Trust Authority. Give him a round of applause. We are a growing district here in Blanchard. There is a lot of incoming houses that are going to come to our district as well as businesses. Our city has recently approved a TIF district north of town. TIF is tax increment financing. It gives incentive for businesses and homes to be built in our school district. In that plan on Highway 9 and 62, there are plats for 942 homes. Our city is also looking at a possible TIF 3 south of town in the old Indian Ridge area. And that is a golf course, businesses, plans for 600 additional homes. Most of those homes are in the Middleburg district, but those kids will come to school here when they get into high school. Some, I think, are in the Blanchard district. A lot of businesses in that TIF 3 are in the Blanchard district. I was at a meeting on Monday morning called Team Blanchard. We meet once a month. It's leaders of the city. As far as in other areas of the Blanchard area, we have about 20 people that meet once a month. One thing that got brought up to me by city council is there are 2,000 homes planned to be built on the north side of town. New Castle city limits, Blanchard School District. So I say all that to say we are wrong. Being behind the facilities, being caught up, being ahead is all in the eyes of the beholder. My bar's here. Said that since day one to the board interview, the teachers every year. That's where my bar is for our kids. What they do in the classroom here. For our custodians to keep this place clean, which they do a dang good job here. Our principals that lead our buildings here. Every stakeholder, the bar is here. And being behind the facilities, that's why I see this right now. Without this growth coming to Blanchard, we have a lot of facilities that need to be addressed today to stay up with the incoming homes. On this bond issue, question 1, there's classrooms, all for this building right here. That and team will talk about the needs of that here shortly. There's a safe room for this building. Contrary to what people may say, there's no safe room right now in this building. There is a field house in the bond issue. I showed this to the Little League and several other community members that I presented to. You know, compare, contrast, field house. If you were able to go to Newcastle on Friday night, you saw a pretty nice field house they provided for their kids in. There is relocating our baseball and softball facility to this current property here to address those needs that we have for our kids. It addresses safety concerns. One thing it does is lock up all the exterior doors in our district. We've got a great system right now for our entryways, but we need to lock up all the exterior doors and put an up-to-date technology system in to where there's good entry access for those doors. Uvalde happened because an exterior door was accidentally left open. We do everything here. We strive to protect the safety of our kids here every day. It addresses technology needs. We have been blessed with several things technology-wise. We have 2 employees here, Mrs. Castle and Mrs. Watkins, who do a great job addressing all of our technology needs here in the district. COVID, as bad as it may seem, gave us some federal dollars to where we can enhance what we do with technology with our kids here in our district. It's provided interactive TVs like that one you see on the back wall there. It's instituted a one-to-one edition for our high school kids here at the high school. It's bought devices almost for every child pre-K through 8 in our district. So this bond issue addresses much needed technology needs that we have. It It addresses the few remodeling issues we have. We're going to move any day. You saw the water line out there. They're getting close. If you know what I'm talking about, water line, the city, and I want to thank the city, has put probably a $300,000 water line to provide much needed water pressure in this building and in our new PAC. And when that happens, we can move our kids over there. If you're having to come down this road, County Line Road right here, you can see they're almost done. But it's going to remodel the current band room to make it adapted to the east facility and also a pump facility for our pump kids. It's going to remodel some of our middle school. Middle school has been added on to 2 or 3 times throughout the years. It needs a little bit of remodel to get it to where it needs to be. It also puts in their money to purchase additional property for the future. For you guys that know, there's a couple opportunities for our board to purchase additional property. Property in our town is not getting any cheaper. So there are avenues we're looking at that to add some future facilities to address growth in the future. So that is question 1. And it is an amount of $69.2 million going to be paid off in 16 years if we continue to grow our valuation at 6% a year. Last year we grew 12%. The year before that we grew 11%. If I didn't convince you there was much more growth coming to our community, then I did a poor job in my first 2 or 3 minutes of this speech. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the time to address these needs with our kids. If we grow significantly more than 6%, that pays off faster with less interest dollars that was needed to get this thing done. That's question 1. Question 2 addresses more safety with our transportation part. Transportation has to be a separate question on the bond issue. So what can you buy with transportation money? Anything that transports students. The big one being yellow route buses and buses to transport our kids to and from activities in the state. So for that, I'm going to turn this over to Terry Gerhardt. At the end, when all of our guest speakers are done speaking, I will gladly answer questions, but I would like to keep it in this format at the beginning. Terry's going to call on him to speak. Terry's going to moderate this. Terry will address questions you may have for the panel up here. At the very end, if you've got questions for me, please hold those to the end. Okay, thank you. Terry Gerhardt.
As Brady mentioned, I am a chairperson of the committee here in Blanchard, but I'm here tonight as a citizen and a longtime supporter of the Lions. Those of you might recognize my voice if you've ever been to a basketball game here. I've been the voice of the Lion basketball program. This will be my 19th season, so you guys can see better like this. So delighted to be here tonight. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to moderate. So kind of what we're going to do tonight, we're going to go introduce our speakers. We'll have one of our speakers come up and talk for a few minutes, and then we'll open the floor for some questions. We are going to try and limit the questions to 3 minutes so that everybody gets an opportunity to speak. And if you missed out on a chance, or didn't get a chance to speak after one of the speakers, at the end we'll have some more Q&A tonight too. So that's kind of the way we'll go. So hopefully we'll get some good discussion here tonight. And most importantly, I'm glad you guys are here because you care about our town and you care about our kids. So first up tonight, Vicki Cooper.
As Mr. Barnes said, I think that there's a group that does deserve our thanks continually, and that is our board members. They are not paid, they show up, and they work on behalf of everyone's children, not just their own. I was trying to figure out how many cornerstones of buildings in this district have David Paulk's name on it. We found out that the elementary doesn't have a cornerstone, so now that's given Mr. Barnes a new project. And if the building doesn't have David Paulk's name on it, he was in a bucket truck hanging a light, or he was on the end of a post hole digger digging a fence, or he was laying sod, or raking an infield. And he's going to be so mad at me for having taken up some of the time to say that. And I don't mean to undermine what any of the other fellas at that table have done. Thank you all. You know I appreciate you. But nothing that we have in this community do we have as a gift. There hasn't been $1 million benefactor that has dropped a ton of money on this town and allowed us to build a school or a gymnasium or a football field. Every single thing we have has been because people like those of you who are sitting in this room made the decision to vote yes, made the decision to give sacrificially so that the children that are here in the present and in the future will have better opportunities. And sometimes that means sacrifice. Now, I am a senior citizen. And even though some people think I'm never retiring, I will be living on a fixed income. And I do live in Blanchard School District. And I do own property in Blanchard Schools. And I personally will be voting yes for this bond. Because this will be a legacy that I can leave. A year ago, almost to the date, I stood on the 50-yard line of the football field. It was Cancer Awareness Night. And this town rallied with me. And I'm here. And I'm going to give back every chance I get. Not for my own kids, not for my own grandkids, but for all of your kids and the ones that haven't even been born yet. I cannot do less than what has been given to me and to my children. I hope you feel the same way.
Are there any questions directly for me? All right. If not, we'll move on to our next speaker, Celissa Pyle.
Hey, hello, and welcome. Welcome to this fine place. I want you to indulge me for just a minute. I want you to imagine that we're in high school. Perfect setting, right? I also want you to imagine that I've just given you a Blanchard maroon shirt. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Everybody has theirs on. Wow. Look at us. At this moment, we are all the same. As a teacher, I can say, oh, you have your shirt on backwards. You know who you are. Oh, you have a hole in your shirt. Your shirt's too big. Your shirt's too small. But as somebody that has the same maroon shirt on as you do, we're all the same. We're Blanchard Lions. And doesn't matter whether you say yes or no. Doesn't matter whether you're short or tall. Doesn't matter whether you have blue eyes, brown eyes, blonde hair, brown hair. It doesn't matter. When I look across this room at every maroon shirt that I've given you, we're all the same. We're Blanchard Lions. I am Celissa Southard Pyle. I am many things to many people. I'm a 3rd generation Blanchardite. I'm a granddaughter. I'm a daughter. I'm a wife of a graduate. I'm a mother to 2 graduates. I'm a teacher. I'm a friend, and many more things. And that's why I'm voting yes for Blanchard. As a teacher of 29 years, 27 of my years have been right here. And that's why I'm voting yes for Blanchard. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, this community looked so much different than it does now. This is because someone, a Blanchardite, said yes. Most of the families in our town today have a beautiful place to live and a beautiful school to attend. It's because someone said yes. I said yes. I am voting yes because this community needs our help. We have to accommodate the enormous growth that's coming our way, that's here now. A dear lion friend of mine, God rest his soul, he said, leave it better than you found it. This community has given me more than I could ever give back. And I have worked my entire life to try to give everything I could back to my community. And I plan to make it better than I left it. I'm voting yes because I love my town. I love my school. And more than anything, I love my people. And people, as you have your lion shirts on, your beautiful maroon lion shirts on, I need to pause for just a minute because we lost a baby lion that was bettering himself in our community to give back to his community. Thank you. God bless you. God keep you safe and sound. Continue to be the Blanchard lion that I am so proud of. And y'all can keep your Blanchard lion shirt that I gave you. And with all my heart, I love you. Thank you.
And more importantly, thank you for the shirt, because as Coach Craig pointed out, I'm wearing, wherever he is, I'm wearing Racer Blue tonight. Epic fail on my part. Epic fail. Well, as we continue, are there any questions specifically for Ms. Mile? We have a question in the back. If you'll wait for just a moment for your microphone, please.
I don't need a microphone. We're good. I think I can speak loudly. I've asked this about from a high school teacher's point of view, but as an elementary teacher's point of view, do you feel like this bond adequately prepares us for the growth of our town? I have not one.
I do, because we have to make room out here before we make room down there. We have room at the elementary, multiple rooms. But here, we don't. And as the classes move in, they get bigger and bigger with the incoming. And so we have to have classrooms out here. But Katie, we have to have technology at the elementary. And one of our most important things is going to the zoo every year. Anybody that have ever had a kindergartner, I don't want to get on a bus with 160 kindergartners and break down. We have to have new buses. We have to have the technology to keep up with everything that's going on. And safety at our entrances and exits. We have to have those things. teachers to fill the classrooms that we have. You know, it would be wonderful if we could go to Walmart and say, okay, I have this class of 160, I'm gonna need, let's see, classroom, I'm gonna need another classroom, but then you go over to the Barbie section where they're all wrapped up, and I'm gonna need 3 second grade teachers and 3 kindergarten teachers. That doesn't happen. In the elementary, we have the rooms, but we don't have the teachers coming here to apply. The qualified teachers to apply. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would you like for me to sing a song? Okay.
All right, next up tonight, former mayor, longtime city councilman Eddie Odle.
I don't know if my old hand can hold this or not. I'm here to ask you to vote for the bond issue. Now, I did my best to do the research into the mill tax, sinking tax, and it seems to me like the only tax that we get is from the ad valorem tax. And that's a burden on you. But the tax level is going to remain the same. So it seems to me that if you're not going to have to pay extra for this bond, then we should vote for it. Now, did that make sense to everybody? Or are you going to ask me a lot of questions? I know I never wanted to pay taxes when my kids got out of school, but I paid them anyway because, you know, that was what we did. So, ask me my questions. That's my speech. So, what can I do for you?
I've asked Eddie lots of questions over the years, I can assure you, so they've all been good answers. And he always compliments my legs. Does he do that for you guys too?
I did forget to tell you all you look good tonight. So, anybody here, I know it's a burden on everybody to pay taxes, but taxes is just a part of life. And I heard tonight where the interest rate to buy a house was 1.6%. It's just going up higher than that. So I hope you all will consider strongly voting for the bond issue next Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda tonight is former Mayor Joe Davis. Joe?
Good evening. I'm a longtime resident of the town of Blanchard. I actually graduated from the school back in '87, not to give my age away. And I remember when our class size was 83, 84 people maybe in our senior class. Now it's double that. There's close to 100 and, how many this year? 176 students this year. I mean, and that's growth, folks. As Mr. Barnes said, a lot of the students are moving here, a lot of them, not every one of them, most students come here from Middleburg. They go through 8th grade out there, and then from 9th grade to 12th grade, they come here. So we're experiencing extreme growth just from that community alone. Now, some of our students go other places, and I think that they're working on it at the state level of how to equalize the property tax from that aspect. But the way I see it, we're paying the same rate. And the mills, I don't understand how all that goes. I'm not put here to understand it. I kind of know enough to get myself in trouble with it. But if you pay the same rate that you're already paying, then I don't understand where we cannot vote for this. You're not being increased, definitely not gonna go down. I've never seen a tax go down since I've been here. So, and I'm gonna speak a little bit about the athletes here and the extracurricular activities. As a graduate of Blanchard, I participated in sports here. A lot of the reason I graduated and I stayed in school was because of the extracurricular activities that were offered. These students, athletes, and extracurricular kids work hard at what they do. If you don't believe me, next time you're at a basketball game, look on the other side of that wall. It's nothing but banners up there. Those kids deserve the best. They're giving their best. It should be up to us to give our best to them. Again, folks, I'm here to ask that you vote yes for the upcoming bond. It's for the community, it's for the growth of our schools, and it's for the growth of town, and the betterment of every student that passes through Blanchard. Thank you.
Questions for Joe? Question up front?
Hello, Joe, thank you. My question was going to be regarding the exact language of the ballot here. I have it in front of me, and I want to make sure my understanding is correct with what you just said. It says, levy and collect an annual tax in addition to all other taxes upon all taxable property in such district. Does that mean that it is an additional $69 million upon all current taxes, regardless of whether the mills are the same or not? It's still $69 million. Is that correct?
For my understanding, this is my understanding of every ballot that I've been a part of or I've seen as a councilman through the city, whatever, they have to include everything in the ballot language as far as how it's going to be paid back. So my understanding of the ballot, the language is yes, it's on there how we're going to pay it back as it's required by law. But the mill rates, the 35.24 remains the same. Yes, there's an additional $69 million that will be paid back because we have to pay it back, but it's still going to remain the same. It's just 35% mill or whatever mill. So the rate remains the same. You're not paying any more than you are now, or you have been paying. You're going to pay the same amount. If they go up, it won't be because of the school, the 35 mills, it'd be other things going up. I mean, it's not, I can't control what the tax levies are from the county or wherever county residing. We can't control that. They can just control the millage rate that we have here. Does that hopefully?
So if the millage rate is going to be staying the same for what it is right now, does that mean it's set too high if we're able to create on the current bonds we have now and also absorb an additional $69 million over the same period? Would that not mean that our tax rate of current set lower?
Can everybody hear me? Okay, to answer the question, I really can't answer. I'm not a financial wizard. I'm not on, I don't know that. That seems like a good question for Mr. Brady not to be able to answer.
You bet. Ask that question here after these guys are done.
Okay.
I have a question. My property taxes went down 3 years ago. Oh, no? Majority of people's taxes went down 3 years ago?
They did.
Yes.
Mine did.
Unless you purchased a house or built something new, majority of people's taxes went down, even though their property values went up. Do you know why?
Ours did not. I can't answer the question, I don't know. I'm not an assessor. I'm in Grady County, my taxes haven't changed.
It's because your tax rate went down.
What county do you live in? Grady's hadn't gone down at all in the last 7 years.
In 4 years. And in the end, after all of our speakers have spoken, we'll let Mr. Barnes get up and maybe he can explain a little bit more in detail the technical aspect of the village and such. I think we have one more question over here before we move on. A couple more.
It is good. Okay. First off, if you're going to handicap a game, talk to Joe. He said those for procrastinators, you know, these things. Anyway, a couple of thoughts. The opening comments were really good. They also kind of bolster my points of this whole thing. A couple of thoughts. First off, if you want more teachers, there's the board right there. They can vote to pay them, or they can find the money somewhere. There's basic rates of teachers. Listen, kind of general for you guys, because I didn't want to individually nitpick it. The growth numbers are impressive. Absolutely amazing. I could not agree more. Joe, I think you told me one time about 60% of the kids do sports and about 100% of course do education. Again, the numbers are impressive. We're going to add 3,000 houses to the district, not counting what we're picking up on the high school kids. I question the priority efforts. All the kids have to be educated, 60% do sports, okay? If this passes, Mr. Brady did say that we're not going to do another bond for 6 to 8 years. He told the city council 8. So if you do another bond in 8 years, that means you turn a key in a building in 9. So we're growing with 3,000 houses and 6% a year. Where in the world are our numbers going to be in 9 years on our school? That kind of scares me a little bit. If the bond fails, and I mean Part A, Part B, the bus bond, even if the 2017 bus had burned, we need the bus bond, so I'm all for B. If Part A fails, folks, it's only 4 months to do another bond, not 18, like we waited for this one. We waited for 18 months. 4 is all you need. So if this fails in 4 months, we could do a bond that I would think would lean more towards education and a little less towards sports. Sports are marvelous. I had a world champion wrestler, so no, that's it. I like sports. Here we go. Yeah, at Lord. There you go. Anyway, I like the bus. I don't like this one. We could redo it in 4 years. We could do it education. If we're growing with the growth numbers you're saying, the sports facilities will be a little bit pushed. But where our kids could be in classroom at. And that is funny with the kids being in class. I get that. Thank you. That's all right.
They won't be here because there's no room.
I was just going to address what he said. The 12% growth, the 6% growth and the 12% growth is number of houses that we're paying taxes, if I'm not mistaken. That is not our expected student growth. That is the number of houses that are being built in the district versus what they're actually projected out. It's not students in the classroom.
Very good. So if we add 4,000 houses, how many kids?
How long is it going to take to build 4,000 houses? That's not a 5-year plan. That is a 15 to 20-year plan.
Let's wrap up this, one more question, we'll move on to the top. Okay, 2 minutes. You got time for it? We did.
I think that's that here. Bring it in, I'll make a slate.
Just to kind of answer a few questions and comments that were made right there. Mrs. Sack here is right. The tax rate went down 3 years ago. So traditionally, when I talk sinking fund bills, all your bills are set in stone except sinking fund. Those are variable based on what the district owes and for the bond issue. So traditionally, it's been the high 40s and low 50s in Blanchard, which is high. Around the Tri-City area, they're in the mid-30s and those other school districts. But ours is lowered, not just, the rate's lowered, not just 3 years ago, but it lowered to maybe 35 3 years ago. Is that fair? Is that when it went to
Well,
35?
you're not counting what you're gonna be issuing this year. 3 years ago, was it like 50 point something?
3 years ago, it went something, I think it was the following year, it went to 35 because we grew. And the tax burden was put on the taxpayers less. We needed less money to pay it back. And so now it's at 35, and the board, through conversations, we committed to keep it at 35. So if it grows, the valuation of the Blanchard School District grows 6% a year, it'll stay at 35. To answer your question, yes, we're adding 69 million more today, 100% true. That's the cost of educating our kids here in Blanchard and providing facilities that these kids need. 100% true. Make sure I didn't think I answered yours. Back I think we're good. Terry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Let's go ahead and go to the next one.
Just see the mic, Mr. Jackson. Greg Jackson, principal of Blanchard High School.
Thank you. Can't always say I get an applause when I'm talking to the younger ones in here, but I do. I feel very fortunate that I get to be around young people every day. I used to say they make me young. Well, that's wrong. They make me feel younger. I'll put it that way. But we've got a great group of kids. I came here 2011-12 school year, and I believe we had about 470 students. We were class 3A. Time flies by. Kids start arriving. Now 2023-24 school, we're 4A, we're 5A in some activities, and soon to be 5A in all activities. With 767 students. So it's almost 300 student gain. So, and as we've all been talking, it's you build it and they will come, and they're coming. With all the housing that's going up, we're going to get a lot of kids. We can't stop the growth. It's going to happen no matter if I like it, you like it, who likes it. It's happening. I'm not here to go over figures as far as taxes, and I'm just going to give you some facts. Everyday facts that we deal with and try to solve and switch around to make our day go smooth. We need the classrooms, no doubt about it. 8 classrooms. We can add some teachers, lower the number of students in some of the core classes. That's what it's all about. As soon as our band, we've already kicked the choir out of their room out here. They're in the library. We've got the English or the Spanish department in the choir room back here. We've got media, and we're waiting, once the band leaves, then we've got some other things we can do. We're going to use that band room for some PE, and obviously we need a place for POM, so it's going to be taken and taken quickly. We're busting at the seams. Classes are full. Hallways are a nightmare. I tell the teachers to get out and, watch students, make sure things go well. I lose the teachers. I can't see teachers out there because it's just madness as far as big old tall students walking down the hallway. I'm trying to get out of the way. I'm just trying to survive in between that 4 or 5 minutes. We're using 2 classrooms in the library that aren't made to be everyday classrooms, but we're using them as that. And I don't want to add a lot of talk about our, athletic or extracurricular activities. But in this room, this also serves as our lunchroom. And during basketball season, usually volleyball's out here going through their workout. This is really no place for them to go. You got boys or girls in this gym, and or boys and girls over in the middle school gym. And then season goes by, now I've got my track. I've got actually have, if I'm blind, I'm dying. I've got kids sprinting from the hallway on the far end, flying down here, and hopefully get to stop before they run into the door, plus the volleyball going. I mean, and you know what? We're doing it. It's working. But obviously, that's not the way it should work. We do need that practice facility. We had volleyball about 4 or 5 years ago. And volleyball every year increases the number of kids playing. Their regional tournament, by the way, is Thursday at Bethany. Softball's at Tecumseh in their super regional on Thursday. So, where you've got high school students, you've got to have facilities because they're going to participate in extracurricular activities. They're going to do it. If we don't have them, they're going to go somewhere else to do it. So far, I mean, we've got good facilities. I grew up in Mangum. My last football game, Dunning Lions, beat our butt here in the state quarterfinals, or one of them. This was 76 school year, so if any of y'all are in here, beat us 21-14. When I got this job, I went back to the football field just to reminisce. We still got beat 21-14. But nothing had changed. Nothing had changed. It blew me away. This is Blanchard, you know. Now, our kids were still performing well, but man, did the new football field and stadium, I mean, everyone knows how nice it is, and it's great. We're wanting to add soccer. Can't have soccer without enough dressing rooms. We actually have a soccer coach waiting on the outskirts. Right now, he's a math teacher, and I mean, he is a good one, trig, all the stuff that you and I probably don't understand. But he was also a soccer coach at Putnam City. So we're putting everything into place. We need a field house. It's obvious. Okay. I'm just telling you what we need. We need weight rooms so every athletic team can use them. You can't just have one because you're going to pile up and it's not going to work. Safety-wise, as a high school principal or any principal, we're always worried about the safety of our kids. And I hate to admit this, but I used to be a coach, and I never worried about necessarily tornadoes and where everyone was going to be going. I'm trying to coach my teams and make them better. But once you kind of get over that coaching part, and now you're responsible for 767 beautiful high school students. Precious. They're like gold to you. You know it. You're some of the parents. Then you start worrying about things that could happen. I used to never worry about a lot of things that could happen. I always try to stay present, but I've got softballers driving across town over by the middle school to practice. I've got baseballers going down here to the park to practice every day. More and more students every day heading those directions. And I worry about them, I worry about the safety, I worry about the crime, because I promise you, they don't care what the speed limit is. They don't care what the speed limit is out here in the student parking lot. But, you know, we talk to them all the time about driving safely. And then we come to the point where, okay, it's tornado season. And some of y'all, I'm sure, have experienced tough times during that, because I know over the years, Blanchard's been hit. We don't have enough hidey holes in this school to put everybody. I'm just telling you. I'm talking about safe places for your kids. There's not enough room. Now, we'll pack them in there on top of each other. You got my word. We have our drills, usually after lunch, because, you know, odds are that's when the storm will hit in the afternoons. So we have our drills because all of the students that are involved in athletics have left the building. So we have a fairly normal tornado drill. But you and I both know sometimes, you know, those tornadoes can happen at any time. And I pray to God every year that we don't have to go down there for a real live tornado. We've been assured those are strong places that will survive a tornado. But no, they are not tornado shelters where we can 100% guarantee all of us will walk out of there. So we definitely need that. I'll sleep easier and better probably if we do. I do live in Blanchard. When I first moved here, I was in Goldsby. My wife felt like it was easier for her to hit the interstate and go where she needed to go. But I had to drive back and forth. So I wear the pants in my family. After 30-something years, I said, hey, I need to move to Blanchard. We need to move to Blanchard, seriously. So we've been here about 6 or 7 years. Maybe, yeah, going on 8 maybe. This is my 13th and my 43rd year in education. That's unbelievable. I have seen a ton of changes. A lot of them not good, some of them really, really good. But I do tell you, I promise you, we need these things. Will I get to be around and will I be around and get to enjoy a lot of them? No. Because like I said, 43 years and it's about time for me to hang things up. But you've got kids, you've got grandkids, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to be a beautiful place if you just get out there and vote and allow it to happen. I promise you. Thank you.
We'll come back to you at the end.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the way I like to talk anyway.
I may not need it. I don't really have as much of a question as much as kind of following what Mr. Davis said earlier. I tried to raise my hand. And then again with Mr. Jackson, all I can say is from my point of view, I have a junior in high school who is a softball player. She's also a member of the FFA officer team. She's also a member of, she utilize special education. We do all the different things, okay? All this stuff to say, I worked the gate at regionals last week for softball, and I had a Kingfisher person who, our girls earned the right to host regionals for softball. They earned that. They were second in district. They had 1 loss to New, well, 2 losses to New hustle, we don't want to count one of them. But they earn the right to host, and I had a woman say, why are we hosting here? This place, our facility is way nicer. Well, you didn't earn it, but we've got to give our kids something to be proud of, okay? They're going to Super Regionals on Tuesday. The other thing that I wanted to also comment after Mr. Jackson said, we moved here from Moore. My oldest daughter, who's now graduated, lived through the tornado at Briarwood Elementary. She was there. She should have been in a hallway. You said we don't have enough hiding holes. Thankfully, the teacher had the wherewithal to push them into a bathroom. The hallway she was in, or should have been in, was destroyed. The library was across the hall, it was gone. So we need this stuff. It's not just about sports, it's about the safety of our kids. If you vote no and a tornado, God forbid, hits here, are you gonna be able to look at yourself in the mirror?
Mr. Jackson. All right, next up on our... Hold on.
Did I hear that Indian Ridge is happening again? And is that Middleburg School? Middleburg is 3K through 8th. Is that right? Middleburg is growing just as well, quickly. They have choices of, is it AMPO? After they exit 8th grade, they have AMPO. Dibble?
Actually, they can go anywhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
But they can go AMPO, Dibble, LA. So would you say that when they exit 8th grade, that we're getting about, what, 45% of those kids?
90.
Wait, what?
Close to 90. I'd say anywhere between 70 and 90.
90% of Middleburg kids. Thank you.
One more question up front.
That should have been priority before anything. You know, in the safety of children are the number one priority. Why didn't they make that a priority? The last priority.
Right, but it is now. Right, you have to have change. Change.
All right, hold on. Let's answer the question, please.
I've been on this school board for 29 years. I was on here when we built this. Once again, everybody cries about paying taxes. So there's not a safe room in here, because we put a safe room in this building, it would cost another $7 or $8 million. People said no. Amen.
All right, let's move on.
Under those bleachers, they say is safer. Anybody see the video of what happened to Shawnee?
Yeah, that's where we go tonight.
It destroyed their gymnasium. It's built just exactly like this one. It's all about taxes.
Should have been, but now it can be. It has to be. You got to make it. It's on the bond. It's on the bond. It's on the bond.
Sorry. I think it has to be done priority, like you said, we do need it. The patrons in 2019 approved a bond issue. And part of that bond issue, we put a safe room out on middle school. And so, but when you build safe rooms, you want them to double as something else, and not just have a big box somewhere where you go 1 to 5 years or whatever it is. So over there, we didn't have a kitchen cafeteria, so we built a kitchen cafeteria, and the cafeteria portion is a safe room, big enough for all middle school kids. So it has been a priority. When we built the PAC, the Performing Arts Center auditorium right over here, We had discussions about building one big enough, but that was gonna be a lot of dollars. So what we did do was build something that would double, a room that would double with something else. So we have a smaller room that's a hospitality room that'll hold all the band chorus kids that are in that building. Since that's throughout the school day, that's all we have over there is band chorus kids. So to answer, I feel you, they work, it's a priority, but you can only do what you can do.
It's an elementary when they build that.
When they build the elementary, but yeah, they do that. Money, bond issue, pretty much. 4 classrooms are safe rooms, and that's big enough. I'm going to use his word too. You can cram every kid in there in a storm. So the elementary, we're good. We got safe rooms. Intermediate, they go underground. Middle school, we now have a safe room big enough. Auditorium over there, we got enough for those band and chorus kids over there. God willing, with the yes vote with our patrons, October 10th, we'll have it complete for the district. So it is a priority for the district.
We'll get back to your question in a moment. Let's move on to the program. Next up is our assistant high school principal, Ms. Anderson. Okay, all right. Next up then will be Coach Craig.
It's Coach, he spoke the whole lot.
Okay, all right, so everybody's done. So at this point, I know there still are a lot of questions. I'm going to invite Brady back up here to help answer them. Again, let's try and keep our conversations one at a time. We'll limit them to 2 or 3 minutes and get everybody to speak. Is there anybody who has a question that hasn't been answered already tonight?
There you go, you're on.
Let's try to use microphones because I think it's going through the live stream. I know you can all hear my voice here, but the live stream needs a microphone.
Most of these kids that we've talked about coming in with all the growth plans and numbers that were given earlier are going to affect primarily the high school. Is that correct?
A lot of them, a lot. So the 942 homes that are in our school district, K-12. The 2,000 homes the city councilman told me about that is in our school district, K-12. The ones in Indian Ridge, most of those K-8 or Middleburg, 90-95% would go here in high school. Does that answer your question?
So if we're having a hard time with room and everything, I'm assuming that also applies to the teacher count at the high school right now, the class sizes that they're dealing with. Is that accurate?
Correct, yes.
So do we have a plan outside of this bond to get more teachers and address that?
Oh, I can address that.
Does she have a microphone? Yep. She loves these kind of questions.
Mr. Barnes always jokes that I'm the one who just hires the teacher and then I go back to him and say, hey, will you approve these teachers that I just hired? So one thing that I was always fortunate when working with Mr. Barnes is that he does put a lot of value in class sizes. And yes, he has said if we can get these instructional spaces for our high school, that we can add on to those core classes that we need to, but then add more sections. That's what we talk about at the high school, is adding more sections, which is in turn hiring teachers, yes.
But that's just with the bond passing, right?
Well, right now, like Mr. Jackson said, we have 0 instructional space to put an additional teacher. We do not have any space at all.
No new space, no new teachers, just increased class size.
Absolutely.
Questions?
Two quick questions. This is more curiosity. The high school principal, when they get the PAC officially open, I heard that's going to open up some rooms in the high school. Will it be 1 or 2, or just curiosity question? Go ahead.
It opens up the band room and the choir room.
Okay, so
We've already taken over the choir room. We moved into the library, the band room, and the band is big enough.
the band is awesome. The band is let us forward. On a football game, we have halftime. They're great. And one thing I'm going to do, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm Mr. Brady, I'm going to take you to task on this, and also the assistant principal. I asked you point blank at a school board meeting, you said the target's 25-to-1 teacher-student ratio. State guidelines are max 20. Can you reconcile the difference?
So the audience may not believe this, but my words get misconstrued from time to time. It's just the craziest things. My comment was, when we get 25, 26 kids, especially at the elementary level, we start looking for another teacher. That's what we do. Answer your question.
Would be 20 or 19.
20 or 19. Good. We would need more money to hire more teachers. And then where are you going to get that? Where are you going to get? I know you know the school business. Where are you going to get that money? So levy a tax to pay for a teacher's salary, I'm pretty sure is illegal. Can't do it. The state pays some, so that's all good. We're not the federal government. We can't create money. Yeah, so where are you going to get that money? Here's what you don't know. Property insurance. Okay. 3 years ago, no, 5 years ago, our property insurance to insure this district was $100,000. It's now $400,000 to do that. And we've added just a few facilities here. So there's one thing increasing costs. We can't bring $300,000 to pay for it. So I'm asking you, what do you want to give up?
We have a massive amount of votes coming in, all the initial first part makes it sound like.
Yeah, I've answered your question. I'm asking you, what are you willing to give up? You willing to give up bus drivers? We can transport less kids to and from school. We can give up textbooks. But no, you brought the question up. You got to tell me. I'm asking you. I made some suggestions. What are you willing to give up? Whatever it takes. I gave you an answer. I don't think you like my answer. There's my answer.
Let's go back to discussion around the bond. Maybe 2 more questions tonight, and we'll kind of wrap things up. Again, another question.
So how?
Get your microphone. Hold on just a moment.
I'll repeat your question. Go ahead.
How are we not being penalized then for having overclass size limits?
Her question was, how are we not penalized for not having 20 in class, correct? When you're bonded in, this is 85%, which I know very few schools, suburban schools all indebted, urban schools all indebted. If you want to take your child to Mustang or Yukon, your child's going to be in an elementary class with 32, 34 kids. If you want to bring your child to Blanchard, they're going to be anywhere between 20 and 25 kids in the elementary. So when you're bonded debt, this is 85, you don't have to address that 20 facility. I personally have a large network of superintendents that I talk to weekly, monthly. I don't know anyone, not one district that's not 85% indebted, and it goes under 20 in class.
So you're saying as long as you keep passing high enough bonds, you can continue to
As long as we keep passing high enough bonds, we don't have to address that. That's correct. Good.
You didn't let her finish her statement.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I didn't hear the last part of what you said.
As long as we continue to pass high enough bonds to stay 85% in debt and keep your class sizes over.
Her statement, to be fair, as long as we keep passing bond issues to stay 85% indebtedness,
Or
then
the
we
statute
don't have to,
says
then we don't have to adhere
millage
to,
stays high enough.
then we don't have to adhere to the class size limit. Right. And it'll be,
You're still talking.
no, I was repeating your question. Yeah, and if we don't pass bond issues, we will be fine with the kid in the class. Go ahead.
Question in the rear?
All right, thank you guys.
And I'll repeat your question.
Does any of this on this list, if we don't pass it this year, next year, 5 years, 10 years, does any of this go away? Does it get better? Is it gonna get cheaper? Are we not gonna see this repeatedly as we need things moving forward? So if we pass it on now, does that not mean it helps us adjust now? And then later after we pay it off, we can meet the needs again in those futures for education, sports, whatever it takes to keep healthy, happy, educated kids here.
That's right. So I'm going to repeat this, make sure I say this right. We can continue to pass bond issues. Is that fair? If this one passes, as long as we keep growing and keep the millage rate the same. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So we talk a lot about with the bond committee, with the Board of Education. The bond committee is on this. And let me just reiterate this. This plan we put together, we take a lot of feedback from different people. And there's not one person that probably agrees to the whole thing, but that's government. That's this guy's job to listen to the people of our community, look at our needs, address needs, do needs assessment, and put together a plan that best fits your school district. And if I was looking just for 12 months, I need to be doing something else. So I'm always looking into the future. You know, what's our 8 to 10 year plan look like here at Blanchard Public Schools? So the way we structure this is stacking this bond on top of the other. And the way we're able to leave the levy rate the same is because we're growing significantly. And the board's given me that directive. Mr. Barnes, we want to continue to strive to keep our millage rate the same. The community in our survey that we gave, 91% said yes or maybe, I would support a bond issue if we keep the levy rate the same. So we structured it that way, purposely. So yes, there's a way we could keep the levy rate the same. In 6 to 8 years, I know my number will be misconstrued over there. In 6 to 8 years, what's next? Probably an early childhood center. What does that look like? That's a pre-K, K1 building. That frees up 1 grade in our intermediate school, frees up 1 grade in our elementary school, frees up 1 grade in our middle school, and opens up more classrooms for those other sites as well.
One more thing, go ahead. Not a question, just a statement. All this stuff that's on the bond absolutely needs to be done at some point. I think everybody would agree on that, even those that are against it. That it needs to be done. If you 45 years, well now instead of it being a $70 million bond, it's going to be a $110 million bond. Does anybody see any construction in the next 5 years, 7 years going down in cost in any way, shape, fashion, or form? No. This bond might be double in 10 years to get the exact same facilities. Why would we not go now and save ourselves that money?
Okay, I have a 2-part question. At previous meetings, school board, and I believe the last town hall bond meeting, you had mentioned that the representative that put together the package, the CPA, whatnot, would be here to answer questions. Is that happening? And the second part of my question, you also mentioned earlier that with the growth that you project that we could possibly pay this off early. So will we be paying off the 2019 bond early as well?
Good question. So, Ron Fisher from Stephen L. Smith, isn't it? Thank you. Oh, Stephen McDonald is our finance guy, and he was at there tonight. We gave him plenty of chance, plenty of time to get this or plan this. Believe me, we put together a plan, and he couldn't be here. He's at there tonight. They've got an October bond issue as well. What was your second question?
Well, the 2019 bond.
2019, yeah, it's set to pay off and I had this other day. I think it was 23rd. And that could kind of coincides with our 6 to 8 year plan. If we continue to grow, you know, and keep our millage rate the same at 35, we'll pay that off faster. Does that answer your question? Okay. Good question. All right.
I'm going to say.
Go ahead, yeah, here you go.
I'm a Blanchard parent and a Blanchard teacher. I've taught at Blanchard for 11 years at elementary. I have graduated 2020, I'll have one in 2025 and 2033. My daughter is currently attending the high school. There is no room for growth. She is an athlete, she's on the wrestling team. She shares the weightlifting room with other teams, so on other teams' days, when there's too many people in the weightlifting room, they have to do something alternative to weightlifting in order to work out because there's not enough room for the athletes. When there's wrestling tournaments, the other teams and other athletic things have to share other spaces. The activity buses, they have to bus the high school. Well, the high school's here, but then they have to bus the junior high over here and bus them back to the junior high. So a lot of people use this facility not just for athletics, but for other things. And safety is an issue as a teacher and as a parent. We have safe rooms at our elementary school. My room is a safe room at the elementary school, where all the kindergarten come in and are able to lock the door and get in safely. So that's a concern, not only for my daughter because she's here, but I will have another one coming up later on. My son was here when it was first built. There wasn't a safe room. And they slowly have added for the middle school. And the bus that burned, my daughter was on it before she got it. It was starting to burn before she got off and got them off safely. But that's a concern. And so if we don't take care of it now, when are we going to take care of it? Because a lot of people say, oh, it's about academics. It's also about athletics and safety. Because there's a big correlation between what they choose to do if they don't have extracurricular activities to do. So it can either be positive or it can be negative, and that can affect our community as well. Because if you look at the people that have extracurricular activities and students, it's correlated with academics, it's correlated with leadership skills, it's correlated with life skills. And they have a higher percentage of having higher academic with it coordinated together. Not always, but coordinated together. My daughter is on superintendent's honor roll. She is a straight A student. She was a national finalist for wrestling this summer. And I'm proud that she goes to Blanchard schools. My son, he's my oldest, he graduated in 2020. He's in the U.S. military, he serves on the Marines in Japan. My youngest one, she just went to the intermediate building.
She's in 3rd grade. Sorry. Okay, 3rd grade. But every time that they go to a Blanchard school, I'm proud to say that I'm from Blanchard. I'm proud my mom moved here 9 years ago because it's a great community. And she still lives here now. I've taught 11 years. This is my 10th year in kindergarten. And I can't say enough about this community. When we have events, everybody shows up. Everybody's here for each other. I've been blown away. I've taught other places, and there's not other places better than Blanchard. The class size, I haven't had more than 24. And there's always help. There's always somebody in the district trying to take care of something. But it's growing, and so we can either grow positively or we can grow negatively. Things can get taken care of, or it can be run down, and we can be known for the wrong reason. We can be known for, supporting our kids, having a good athletic department, having good academics, having great teachers, having a great community like we are, or we can have other things take over. So as a parent and teacher, I'm voting yes, and I'm also voting yes.
Is Blanchard Public Schools being sued?
We are. So correct my dates here, board, and I messed this up. In October of 19, July of 19, before the bond issue passed, we hired an architect in May of 19 to draw architect plans for the auditorium. They came back with a $16 million plan, and our board said, that's too much. Go back and look at it, redraw it, downsize it a little bit. They immediately came back with a $24 million plan, and our board fired them right there on the spot. So they're suing for services not rendered. I took the job here, David Pock, me and Dr. Beckham sat down, went through it. The lawsuit has no merit. Now, us as taxpayers, we can pay it, what they're asking. I don't think that would be very fiscally responsible. They have continually put it off. The architect that we hired quit that firm, went to another firm somewhere else. He continually dodges the depositions. I don't give a lot of merit. It's going to be settled someday. It's not going to be a tax burden to our taxpayers. So there's the answer to your question. Good question. Yes.
Hello, my name is Gregory. We moved out here 2019, July 2019, to Blanchard from more school districts. I can confirm we moved out to get away from the big size classrooms. When my daughter came out here, Landry, who's now a junior, she was in class sizes of 35 to 45 depending. They were behind at times. It's coming, whether we want to or not. It's going to happen, whether we want it to or not. We moved out here to be in a smaller town. This is where I'm from. I'm from a small town, Texas. Community just like this. Great athletics, great school system. I guess my question is, we were behind the times there. If this doesn't pass with agendas floating around, what's the alternative? As far as you can't have classrooms, so you go to independent buildings. So are we going to want a crowded parking lot, taking up parking spots, to add individual classrooms, mobile homes, mobile offices for kids to get an education in? I grew up with that. It's not fun. Okay? I pray to God none of you ever had to experience this, but I was in May 13th, 2013, tornado. When I got to the school, I got there late, tried to go to the west side of the school, tracked the tornado, like we all do. I was too late. I couldn't get to my daughter. When I looked in the class, when I looked down the hallway, that's where she was. She had nowhere to go. When I came back after the tornado passed, thank God we both made it out, that hallroom was there. Wasn't there. It was completely gone. There were no kids in that hallway. I went scrambling, and for about 5 seconds, the worst part of 5 seconds of my life, I thought the kid was gone. To add to what she said, they walked out of the bathroom, and I saw her for the first time. So, just shed a little light. Agendas be what they may. At the end of the day, this is a growing community. This is a growing school system. It's not going to stop. Does everybody agree with everything that's on it? Probably not. But it influences all of our kids. Everything that's on there, transportation. What happens if y'all can't get buses anymore?
It'd be tough.
Okay, are you going to have to go to probably renting buses? Going to a lease type company to bring buses in? How much extra is that going to cost? Where is that coming from?
It'd be tough. You have to make sacrifices. You have to sacrifice something else.
All right. Every athletic program in this school district is growing leaps and bounds. We're very successful at what we do. People up there are very successful at what they do and instilling in our kids. It goes beyond what happens on the field. It goes to leadership. It goes to a sense of community, which is very, very far and gone these days. We ought to be proud to turn around and support this community in any possible way that it can possibly happen. So, At the end of the day, it's for the kids. Agendas, be what they may, but I pray to God that if this goes down, probably gonna be knocking on somebody's door, because if we have to come up to the school and see the tragedy that I've seen because we didn't have a storm shelter, or if we take it across the street and you want to take it to athletics, we're going up. Programs are growing, softball's growing. My daughter has driven, or had to find a ride since she was a freshman, across town in a big old-filled town where there's water trucks that fly up and down Main Street and fly up and down 76 daily. It is glory to God. There's nothing bad that's happening out on these streets, kids driving all hours of the day, because we don't have the facilities here. So think about that. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Sorry, not to bring on your parade, but I don't mind taking a few more comments. We're here.
I got these boys. You know, you say that there's a projection of 3,000 plus homes coming into this area.
That's what's been conveyed.
That's a projection. The realization is, where are they gonna get all the water? We've been fighting water in this town for years. And so, we got 4 council members. You know, they've been fighting with this water. You know, so yeah, they're gonna come out here and build these homes. We just years. You know, they shut us down. We can't water our lawn. Our trees are done, our bushes are done. You know? So tell me that's a realization. You know, you just think, well, there's 3,000 plus homes over here. That's a projection.
Robert, I think that's a question that needs to be asked.
It does. It does.
Hey, is your name Robert?
Yeah.
Brandon Ross. I can answer part of that. So TIF 2 was designed for the city to finance dollars to bring water and sewer to Highway 962. Gail, you were on the TIF committee, correct? Okay. So there's water for 942 homes. Well, they have to bring all that in before they can start. Okay. They're financing dollars to bring water and sewer.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Thank you.
It's about the bond issue.
I don't have a question. I would just like to wrap up and kind of close, and by saying, you still have on your Blanchard, your beautiful maroon shirt. I know a lot has been said about athletics, but let me tell you something. You, in your Blanchard Lion shirts, when you go to any game, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're on the field. It doesn't matter whether you're in the stands. It doesn't matter whether you graduated from Blanchard or whether you are just proud to be here. You've got that maroon Blanchard Lion shirt on. You're here because you are part of a pride. And that's it. Be part of a pride every day. Be somebody that leaves a legacy for this town. Please vote. That's it. Thank you for coming.
One more thing. Mrs. Wright, you are the last person to have your hand up. I don't want to neglect anybody.
I'm good. Lisa's good.
You echo
We're
what
good.
Mrs. Pop said. Okay. You want to say, I want to make some closing remarks. Okay. Yes. Mrs. Robertson, thank you so much for live streaming this for us tonight. And I'm going to echo what the gentleman said in the back, just real quick in closing remarks. Hey, hold on. I ask everybody here to have some foresight and look ahead. You said it may not be what everybody wants at the time that they want it. Fair? But if you look 10 years down the road, what Blanchard Public Schools could have for our kids, we make kid-driven decisions. We could have additional classrooms in our high school. We could have a safe room. We could have the ball fields relocated. We could address all our transportation needs. We could address our technology needs. We could have an ECC in 8 to 9 years if we vote on it in 7 years. And have everything that everybody's really wanted and needed for our kids here. So I ask you, may not be in your time, but have some foresight, look to the future about what this place could be. Thank you so much for coming. I'll hang around a little bit if anybody wants to have any comments or questions with
I
me.
have a lot more questions, actually.
Okay, come and ask me. I'll gladly answer you.
Okay, then I would like to say something before, I'm sorry.
I promise. 2 more, Terry. We're wrapping this up. I don't want to neglect anybody.
I just want to say, first off, there was a committee that was in place that went and took what everyone had to say in mind.
I was not part of that committee, but a lot of people that are asking questions here tonight were, and it was very months long. They took time of their own. They weren't paid either. The board saw to it to ask everyone questions, took that information, asked specific people in the community whether it could be. And it doesn't take 4 months. It's not 4 months. It will take a lot longer for us if we decide that this is something that we can do. We're going to be doing it. It just may not be right now, but it will be longer than 4 months. Unlike what someone else said tonight. That was part of that meeting. This went on for months and months and months. There has been a lot of thought put into this. A lot of hours put into this. Of people's time that are not getting back, but they did it because they were trying to do what's best for our kids. I just hope, as a 3rd grade teacher, as an alumni, as a parent that has had students that have graduated through Blanchard, as someone that cares about our community and our students, I'm asking you to go out and vote yes for our kids.
So to Rusty's point, when does Middleburg start contributing property taxes? Would be a question since we're taking in all of these Middleburg students. I don't know how many questions you want, or you don't even have to answer, but these are things that need to be contemplated. Those property taxes currently are not coming in, but we're going to be housing all of these students. If there's no room currently at any school building, why are we taking in transfers outside of Middleburg? I know you're obligated to take in Middleburg. Why are you taking in Norman's?
We're not taking transfers.
There's no transfers? Well, I know students that don't live in this school district that go here.
You want to kick them out?
So what's the difference? Go for it. The property tax is a question. That is another question. I'm not more.
Well, they're answering it, if you let them answer.
Okay. Transfers. Yeah. The board approved a transfer law. There was a law our legislators approved 2 years ago. We needed to fit our needs. We don't take any new transfers. The only transfers we take is if they were already currently here. We're making kid-driven decisions, so we don't want to dislocate kids. So if they were already here, we keep them. If they're military kids, our board is elected to keep them. If they are faculty or staff member kids, they can transfer here. If they have a sibling already here, they can transfer here. Today, I think, I'll have to go back and look, I think we have 43 transfers, and I think 3 years ago we had over 100. So we're in the kid business. If they're already here and their attendance and discipline is maintained, we keep them. If their attendance drops off or they get discipline troubles, we cut their transfer. And then Middleburg, there's a lot of things there. I've spoken to legislators. There's some ideas without getting too much in the mud on that, or I really don't want to. One thing I can tell you, to change any property tax law has to go to a vote of the people, is what's been conveyed to me.
Well, they can't vote on this bond either, because they don't live in the school district.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
inflow of children.
But Kendall, you're absolutely
I
right.
was just curious,
It's,
when I was in Middleburg transfer, you graduated from Mr. Barnes.
yeah. One thing I did want to say and clarify here, voting. I know there's been some confusion about voting. To vote, you have to live in the Blanchard School District. You may live in the Newcastle city limits.
Eagle Ridge or whatever it is, those people in there cannot vote. We went up there to vote, and they denied it.
It's the Middleburg School District. Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm David.
Just to answer what you were saying, if the child goes to a K-8 school, no matter where, they pick where they want to go, one time. They cannot be turned down. So if a Middleburg child wants to come here, they come here. We can't turn them down.
Which I said they are obligated to do. I was asking where are those property taxes going to account for those students?
That's where you gotta go to your state legislature.
Just a question for everyone to comment.
And I want to make a comment to Mr. Van Kemp. There's been several times that you've been to school board meetings, and I have heard you myself, where you think the school board can come up with extra money to pay teachers. That can never be part of a bond. If I had the money, I'd double every teacher. But if you want that kind of money, you're going to have to go to the state. And I've said this 1,000 times over the years. Horse racing was going to fix education. The casino was going to fix education. Lottery was going to fix education. But it didn't, because all that money goes through the legislature, and they move it somewhere else.
I am now going to wrap this thing up. That's seriously, thank you. Oh, here you go. Finish your questions.
What happens when you don't get 6% growth?
Good question. So if we don't get 6% growth, the millage rate will go up. The sinking fund millage rate will go up. That happened in 08. There was an economic crisis in the world, and the sinking fund millage rate went up. But all outliers, all indicators, and this has been structured very conservatively. We didn't do it based on 11 and 12% growth we got the last 2 years. We did it based on 6. In the last 25 years, Blanchard has averaged 9% growth. We structured this with mind for our taxpayers and really tried to look at the burden we make impose on them. Good question.
So during the, went below the 08, the housing market, how long that, 6% under, how long that lasts?
3 or 4 years.
So then, so basically, it went back 4 years, then it go back up. It's just not that right.
And then we passed a bond issue here for the high school in 08. I think the first year here we were 2010. And then there was, but the board at that time was very adamant, your taxes will go up. And the taxpayers thought we need a high school. And so it went up to 45 or whatever.
Basically, nothing's going to happen unless there's another meltdown.
Correct.
There we go.
And I guess the last one would be for the school board. What happens if this bond fails? Are you guys going to lower the tax rate? Because you get more money every year. Are you going to lower the tax rate next year if this bond fails?
We need more money to get this somewhere. I mean, why?
Whether this bond passes or fails, you're going to pay the same millage rate for the next 7 years to pay off the current bond issue that we're working on.
Why though? Why aren't you lowering the tax rate?
Where are you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't control tax rates. I control your property value.
I can answer that. Hey, Ms. Secretary, I'll answer that and I'll wrap this up. Fair? Is that your last one? Okay. So, once again, the last few years, we've been paying high 40s, low 50s. We've committed to get to 35 and keep it there and fiscally responsible, pay it off in the back end where you know the interest part is. And to keep the burden the same with our taxpayers year to year. Fair? Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I think this has been productive meeting. And hey, give these guys up here a round of applause. That's